having a little bit of technical difficulties, so if you please bear with us here, and we'll get those things taken care of, and we'll get started very soon.
I am online, Michael.
Oh, great. Good to hear you. All right, definitely have some participants rolling in now. Great. All right, we are going to, we just had a new link that got sent out to people that had maybe registered today or even just hours before. So we're going to give those people a chance to join. We got some joining right now. So please bear with us let's give it 3 more minutes till 12:10. Grab some tea, maybe grab a bite to eat. But we'll get started here in about 3 minutes. Again, my name is Michael Bishop with LG Energy Solution. We have Terrence Parker with Solis and Fortune Energy as our hosts. Thank you for joining. And again, we'll get started at 12:10 in about 3 minutes. So thank you very much for sticking with us. We did ask earlier, we asked some people where they were from. How's the weather? Go ahead and put where you're from in the chat if you're feeling chatty. We'd love to see where our customers are coming in from. Oh, we got Michael in SoCal. Yeah, it is warm down here. Warmer. It's been cold this last week in SoCal, but a little warmer this week. Unexpectedly nice. Wet in the Northeast, huh? Where are you at, Joseph? Let's guess. I want to do a guess. Random guess.
He's got to be
I was about to say, I was going to say upstate New York for some reason.
right. They're getting the weather the week out a couple days ago where it was raining.
New Jersey.
Curious to know if any of you are going to go see the eclipse next week on the 8th. I'm in the Detroit area and we'll probably travel down to the Cleveland area to go see it. So I'm looking forward to it on Monday, the 8th.
The solar apocalypse, huh?
Well, come now. Before we knew what it was.
watch production drop like all across that band.
Would be interesting.
There's no sun.
I was in the last eclipse. I checked that out and traveled down to southern Illinois, and it was freaky. It was just really strange.
Yeah, right. I like on the solar eclipse how like through trees it'll create like those pinhole shadows on the ground. It's a really freaky effect. It's pretty cool. I've never been to a lunar eclipse, so this is kind of exciting.
Huh.
Okay, it is 12:10. We have 22 participants. I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. We want to keep anyone else waiting. You ready, Terrence? You ready to go?
I am ready.
Great. Don't mean to repeat myself, but let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Michael Bishop with LG Energy Solution Technical Sales. I'm joined here with Terrence Parker.
Hello.
From Solis. And then we have also online our gracious hosts, Fortune Energy. Thank you so much for joining all of us here. We'd love to introduce to you guys this partnership that we have. LG Energy Solution and Solis Inverters, better together, whole home backup. Solis has the technology and the know-how and the people, and in order to deliver high power and high capacity from LG Energy Solutions batteries. So really excited to show you guys these products. Terrence, you have anything else you wanted to say? You can
Well,
go
I
ahead and get
mean,
started.
yeah, I just like to thank everybody
Yeah.
for coming in and spending some time with us today. Indeed, this sort of partnership where you got two global companies with the backing, the bankability really to support your systems as we go forward. We're going to talk a little bit about the products and the companies that you're working with here. But we'll get right into the product review and what we want to talk about today, which is our S6 or Series 6 hybrid and the new hub. These new microgrid interconnection devices are really quite fascinating. They attach on the line side and really give the homeowner a lot of options. We'll talk about the key features of both the hub and then LG as well. We'll get right into what LG Prime and the product overview is, what the new products that they have there. You can see real slick, the key features and technical information. And then finally, we'll kind of wrap it together where we're showing you the applications that can be addressed, the customer desires, the expectations that they have can be met with these systems and the flexibility that they have. So importantly, we also want to introduce the fact that we've got your back. We're ready to support you, and we'll and we want to talk a little bit about what that is, and get you the contact information there, and then go into a Q&A, and you can ask us anything. So let's get right into it. I want to first talk a little bit about Solis. We are a global company. You can see there that over 10% of our company is actually in R&D. We are the factory. We are the manufacturer. We're the ones that own the patents, and we're growing our company. If we're a public company, you'll be able to check our stock code out on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange and see where we're spending money. You will see that actually the company is spending quite a bit of money on expansion, and indeed we are approaching 80 gigawatts of capability annually. We are a global player, number 3 in the market right now, behind Huawei and Sungrow, and we've got a global market to service, over 100 countries. So yeah, we were established in 2005, and we got here to the US in 2009 and never left. We got established here. We doing white labeling on products like Sunrun and CSI, and it wasn't until 2019 that we went public and really started to bring out that Solis brand name a little bit more. And we, over the last few years, have been expanding our capability. We just opened up a Vietnam factory. We're actually taking a look at some US manufacturing capability here, maybe to take advantage of the ITC. But really, we are a global company that's servicing over 100 countries, as I note. In Europe, we have a strong market in Australia, in China and India, as well as South America and North America. So covering the globe. And indeed, shipments were up in 22. Again, we doubled that in 2023, and we expect that we may even double that number in 2024, 2025. So it's a growing company, dynamic and interesting. We have a young CEO, and we really have a new factory. I'm going to show you a picture. I think I might have a picture here, but you'll see our CEO there in the middle. Very importantly, the man from the second from the right there is Kun Zhang. He's our lead R&D man, and really a very innovative person. Both of them really. And we like to think of our team here as infrastructure and support that you have here in the United States. We like to say we bring not only the equipment, but we bring the people as well. We bring leadership teams as well as application engineering and compliance engineering. That's where I work. And we have a group, we have both inside and outside sales, and more importantly, a quality management team that's focusing on what's going on in the field, and then tier 1, tier 2 servicing that will actually pick up the phone when you call, and we can have people out in the field to help you both in commissioning and in troubleshooting should you ever need it. So that's how we're organized. That's how Solis is organized both on a global basis and on a local basis. As I note, we work all over the world, and this picture you're looking at here happens to be kind of an agrovoltaic sign in the bay, site in a bay in China. But I just want you to know that we don't do any EPC work or bid against in projects here in the United States. That's We work through our good distributors. They distribute this full line of products. Although today, I just wanted to mention that all of our products have the latest interconnection standard, the 2018 standard, as well as tested to the latest UL 1741 SA and SB test standards. We also have HECO and Rule 21 and ISO New England. So any of these products can be installed anywhere across the country. And indeed, we are developing some larger solutions for storage in our commercial offerings. But really today we're going to focus on that second from the left there, that residential hybrid inverter. It's so versatile. And we're going to be talking about systems where we can easily just set up the inverter and an LG battery and really just use that alone and communicate with you from on your mobile phone and to a fleet manager should you have some sort of maintenance services that you've got for your system. But these are kind of an interesting little tool that Solis uses. They're plug and play devices. That one on the bottom there is literally a cell phone. It comes with a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. And I'd like to announce right now a new offering that Solis will be providing, and that is Michael, this is kind of new. We are now going to be giving away a cellular Wi-Fi stick and soon the Wi-Fi LAN stick along with the inverters. And so, yeah, you're getting not only the inverter, but you're also getting our data logger. That's what these are. These are plug and play, touch safe, only 5 volts, plug and play NEMA 4X data loggers. You plug right into the bottom of the inverter. There's a little port on the bottom, super easy install, 3 minutes and you're up and running, either a cellular or Wi-Fi signal going off to the local router or to the local tower. So it's an exciting time for us. Yeah.
Yep. From just my personal experience, we have ourselves, Solis has some labs in the Bay Area where I'm based out of. Um, they have an installation in Lafayette, California, San Francisco, California. I've also been to a lab in Fremont. Incredibly easy to connect to the inverter with these devices, and also incredibly easy to commission. But we'll go over that a little bit later. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, it's true, Michael. I mean, the commissioning part especially is quite good with LG. I mean, we looked at a couple of other, but it's really 2 wires for the power, 2 wire for the communication, and you are get to go. So super easy install setup, and it's one of the advantages of us working together is that easy install. I want to talk a little bit about some residential backup solutions, and really, although we do sell a single phase, just regular grid tie inverter, we're going to be focusing on that inverter on the right, the hybrid, which indeed is. I wanted to show you this because indeed the hybrid is our grid tie inverter. I mean, it essentially it got the same capabilities. It actually has a little bit bigger inputs, but really this inverter is designed as a grid tie product that's battery ready and you're really quite versatile. You can use it as just a battery management inverter or just as a grid tie inverter as you wait for some batteries to get delivered or to expand your system, that sort of thing. So super versatility is really what we're going to talk a lot about today. That wide operating range and those low startup voltages gives you the ability to put on very small, even 3 and 4 module strings onto this, as well as, of course, full power, up to 12 or whatever it happens to be on these 600-volt inverters. Wide operating ranges, low startup. Really, it's a DC powered device, so you'll see it light up in the day when the sun comes up, and then shut down at night, lowering any sort of phantom loads on your system. One that's really cool is that each one of these MPPTs are independent from each other. So you could there's 4 independent MPPTs here. So you can put, maybe a shadowed group of 3 or 4 modules on one MPPT and put all the others that are in the sun on the others. And so you can really kind of customize your roof layout so that you can either isolate or ensure that the ones that are getting some shadows are working together. And there's actually other things you can do with MLPE that you can add to our systems. I just did a lecture where I showed the versatility of these new string inverters to work with wide varieties of integrated transmitters for rapid shutdown or for monitoring or for optimization. So many new things you can do with third-party MLPE suppliers that we're seeing today. It's really quite an interesting field to be in as you get the basic rock solid performance of a string inverter, but then you get to add new value propositions for your customers. So again, integrated power line carrier signal transmitters for rapid shutdown, no problem. CEC listing and up to the latest standards, no problem for installation anywhere. And when you set up these inverters, you're going to find that the commissioning, even though it's a little bit more complicated than grid tie, I like to talk to Michael, I like to talk to my grid tie installers because, of course, it was easy peasy doing installation and commissioning with grid tie. You could do it in 3 minutes. But with battery systems, you've got a little bit more complicated commissioning, right? But because LG and Solis work close together, and the inverter here that we're showing you really only has 2 main operating modes: self-consumption, which is great for areas like NEM3 areas where you want to kind of absorb all of the self-consume and absorb all the energy that you can and then only discharge it during those high tariff times. Or you could set it in a feed and export priority like we have here in Michigan, where we get 1-to-1 right now for our back feed. So it really is a nice way to go in those territories, what we used to call NEM1 and NEM2 territory. So those are the main 2, and you just set it for that. And if you want to, get a little bit more precise as to how the LG batteries will discharge and when they'll discharge and at what rate, you can set all that up in the inverter during commissioning. So we set up, we kind of have a guide for you on setting up these inverters to make it an easy commission.
Can we go one more back?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to chime in there, with the, I know it can be kind of daunting sometimes for some battery manufacturers in terms of adding it to a system or installing a battery onto a new system. But not to name names, but our old previous inverter partners that we used to work with, there have been some difficulties, but it's completely night and day. Our relationship with Solis, we've really managed to take the installation process and really make it as easy as possible is one of the main focuses of this pairing. And when we say 5-10 minute commissioning, it really is 5 to 10 minutes. And all you're really doing is just like Terrence was mentioning, selecting your operating modes, selecting if you have 1 or 2 batteries, and you're off and running. So really just want to highlight our working relationship with Solis and how robust that is, and how we plan on taking that relationship into the future and making sure that this system will continue to work for homeowners and installers alike. So, and we do have a question here from Michael Williams. Will AP Systems smart cable or Tigo optimizers work for RSD? COM transmitter built in?
Yeah, so we can we can do 2 different kinds of Tigo transmitters. We can do the standard PLC transmitter that works with their TS4-A-F or 2F, just their PLC controlled rapid shutdown device for compliance. And there's some interesting things going on in residential compliance actually for that. But yeah, a standard AP Smart with the AP Smart receivers, or the Tigo with the Tigo PLC transmitters. And they got that new Pure Signal transmitter, which is a really nice evolution of their transmitter. But we also have the opportunity to install, factory install the CCA, which is their data log with the Tygo data logger that can work with the tap. And the tap is hardwired to the inverter from the CCA, and that creates a Wi-Fi mesh on the roof. And then you can add optimization to your modules up on the roof. So yeah, we have that capability, and we're actually working with another company that has this optimization capability. So we think, as I note, that you have that flexibility of doing, Solar Edge-esque kind of solution, but you get that full service kind of inverter along with the system. So um, that flexibility is really what a lot of what Michael and I want to talk to you about today, is
Mm,
the ability to set your system up to exactly match that customer use case, and then grow with them as they have new needs and new wishes for their system. This is one of the systems that Michael was talking about over there in California. I think you saw this system, and
yes,
it's
sir.
you can see that we've got some shadowing from a dormer there. We've kind of isolated that group of four to ensure that it works on one of the MPPTs. And so it really is a type of system that can flex with your needs. And well, some of these needs, I guess, have expanded, especially over the past few years, into whole home. We've heard this kind of brought out by Tesla and others as a really kind of the ultimate kind of system where when the power goes out, you've got access to all of your loads, and that can be both a good and a bad thing. You've got when the system comes on and you're trying to run your whole home, maybe the big 5-ton air conditioner might need to be shut down, might need to be shed. We say shed that load. And this
Mm,
is something you can do with these new platforms. It's the great thing about these new platforms with these new hubs, Michael, is that you can not only watch what's going on with right on your phone, but you can shed loads or add loads, or start your generator or shut down your generator. It's really quite fascinating.
right. I mean, I was excited to see the Solis S6 and Prime battery pairing, and that went wonderfully, and it's been going wonderfully. But when I saw this hub, it was a whole new level of excitement. So just as Terrence mentioned, you have 200 amp continuous backup power through the hub here, up to 34.2 kilowatts from PV in the batteries. Um,
Right.
LG Energy Solutions, our battery has capable of high capacity and high power, and this Solis Hub is one of the few, if not only, pieces of equipment that lets you take full advantage of the power and capacity that is available through our batteries. And we'll go through that a little bit later, and then how exactly that's going to look, and take a look at some system diagrams, and we can go through that in a little bit more detail later. But this Solus Hub for me is true whole home backup, and really exciting to be working with Solus on this.
It's not just kind of high tech. It's also, it also kind of takes into account the electrician's hands. We're talking about a device here that really the electrician will install where the service entrance panel is, right? And so he's used to these sizes of panels, the ability to kind of do good wire bending and stuff inside. You can see there's access from the side there and from the bottom, so you'll be able to wire this up, and you'll have enough space in this hub to do your wiring. You have enough space for big American hands to get in there and do the work that they need to. You'll interact with this hub via Bluetooth. You'll get a good connection to your Bluetooth within 2 or 3 feet of the device. But should you want to connect to it a little bit further, there's a small antenna that you can use. It'll give you about a 20-foot radius for operating with your phone to make full. You can commission the system through your phone. You can set it up through your phone, or of course through the interface right there on the hub and on the inverter. So easy to set up. I did want to ask, before we go on, Michael, I wanted to really get kind of a good idea, sort of please just answer right into the chat or into the question area about what you think or what you're hearing your customers ask about. Are they really Are they concerned about making sure that when that power goes out within 10 milliseconds, they're back online? They want to make sure that their loads are taken care of, security and resiliency, in the face of maybe some weather and other events that we've seen over the past few years. There
Yeah.
is, yeah, and then cost savings comes into play here as well, Michael, because in NEM3 territory, you're able to utilize your battery to take advantage of those tiered setups, and you're able to maybe do some peak shaving and other things that these inverters are capable of. Maybe what we would call ancillary services in the future when we're connected to the grid to support voltage and these sorts of things. So it's an exciting time for new owners of these systems, and we're kind of curious to know what your customers and what you yourselves are seeing as the major reasons for bringing on storage.
Yeah, thanks for the answer, Andrew. Actually, Terrence is giving me a hard time. I made him put the both in there. He wanted you guys to choose one or the other, whether it be the majority or what you are seeing in
True.
your customers pick up. So, backup power, cost savings. I think we see a little bit of both for sure. Thanks, Andrew, for your answer. Um, and we got another question here. We got easy install, power backup, time of use, SGIP rebates. Michael, maybe you can expand a little bit on your question, and in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and move on here. And we're going to talk a little bit about LG Energy Solution, and then our Prime Home battery. So I want to talk first about LG Energy Solution as a company. You'll see here that LG Energy Solution is part of the LG Group. You might have heard of these companies before: LG Chemicals, LG Communication Services, LG Electronics. But as the LG Group became more diversified, all these divisions used to be one company called LG Chem. But we've since spun off, and now we are our own separate companies: LG Chemicals, LG Comms, LG Electronics. We are still part of the LG Group, and these companies are still doing what they're known for. LG Chem is definitely still in the chemicals game, and LG Electronics, you probably know them for their appliances, refrigerators, TVs, dishwashers, those types of things, phones, small electronics. But I want you to keep in mind, you're speaking to LG Energy Solution, which is it's its own company, just like the others. It's its own company with its own CEO and own IPO. And the mission of LG Energy Solution is, I'm not mission, but all we do is we make batteries and we make cells. We are a cell manufacturer. Unlike other batteries that you may have maybe working with or may have heard of, who knows where the heck those cells come from? They're just buying them at the cheapest price and shoving them into their battery. But when you buy an LG Energy Solution product, you can be rest assured that our cells and our batteries were made with our research and development and coming out of our factories, and we control everything from the very first part of production all the way to installation. So LG Energy Solution, when you think of LG Energy Solution, you need to think batteries. That's all we do. We spun off in 2020. We'll go right on back there. Sorry, Terrence, my cadence there is a little off. So LG Energy Solution, we noticed we have 540 gigawatt hours of capacity. We're the second largest battery manufacturer in the world, almost 30,000 battery patents in our name. And we're expecting at least $25 billion. We got $25 billion in revenue in 2023. Let's take a look at what we can expect into the future. This slide's not updated, doesn't have the 2023 slide, but you can see here when we spun off in 2020, our revenue just went ahead and expanded as well. So 15 billion in 2021, 20 in 2022, and again 25 in 2023. So we are not going anywhere. We're going to continue keeping the pedal on the battery game. And the way we're going to do that is with our global presence. You'll notice here that we have our main headquarters and our main research and development facility in Seoul, Korea. We also have a number of, you'll notice here in the key, we have advanced automotive, mobility and IT, ESS locations all over the world. But I would like to draw your focus to domestic production. If you look over at the USA, you'll see that we have office in Westboro, Massachusetts. That's mainly dealing with grid and CNI. Holland, Michigan, usually mostly dealing with automotive, obviously up there on the Rust Belt.
Right. Hey.
But right up in your neighborhood, Terrence.
Right.
And a lot of partnership with GM and Honda, a lot of infrastructure, but I want to focus in on this Queen Creek, Arizona location. It's actually, we just broke ground on this last year. We're expecting to see production come out of this facility in 2025. This is actually an LFP facility, and it'll be the largest LFP facility by square footage in the domestic United States, period. You're expecting the story I want to tell with these last few slides is LG Energy Solution. We are a battery manufacturer. We're going to continue doing that, as you see by our revenue, and we're going to continue also investing not only globally but domestically with our new LFP factory and some new production coming up. And you don't expect we're not going anywhere. So
that's just great news. That is really great news.
Really big factory in Arizona coming, and that should be completed by 2025, which is the output from there, both for grid CNI and residential. But you'll notice here our LG Energy Solution, as we are a battery manufacturer, we do that for all these segments, right? For EV, mobility, IT, phones, small electronics, those types of things, but and also ESS. You just happen to be talking to a member of the ESS team today, LG Energy Solution. We are a large company. We do make all types of batteries, but today we're focusing, and you'll see our prime battery and our next generation, which we'll probably talk in our next webinar. That's our next generation battery you saw down there. We do make batteries for all types of applications. These are just some of the companies that we're working with. You can find our batteries in automotive and all types of electronics. It's because, like I said, LG Energy Solution being the second largest battery cell manufacturer in the world, we are providing those to a number of companies, as you see here on the screen. So let's get right into our residential products. This is the LG 10H Prime. We call that the 10H Prime because we have a 9.6 kilowatt hour usable energy capacity. So it's basically a 10 kilowatt hour battery. These batteries could not only provide 10 kilowatts hours of capacity, but also 5 kilowatts of power. Rated 7 kilowatts peak. It's a really nice bang for your buck in terms of size, power, and density. And you can always scale our batteries. These DC coupled batteries are always scalable, stackable in parallel up to 2 units. So 2 10s will get you up to 19.2 kilowatt hours. And then not only are you doubling your usable energy to about 20 kilowatt hours, but you're also doubling your power. So 2 batteries in parallel will take you to 10 kilowatts of power. So a good amount of capacity, a good amount of power. This is off of our little battery. Let's go on to the next one. And then this is the big brother here, LG 16H. We call it the 16H again because it has 16 kilowatt hours of usable energy. Along with those 16 kilowatt hours, we have a 7 kilowatt power rating at 11 kilowatts peak. And again, these are stackable and scalable. So you can get up to 32 kilowatt hours of capacity and a humongous 14 kilowatts of power. I don't even think there's a inverter rating out there that can take the full 14 kilowatts. We'll talk a little bit more a little bit later about how to best take advantage of the high power and high capacity available out of these LG 10H and 16H primes. Not only do they have high power capacity, but you'll notice here, you see that on top is the BCU. And also, and what the BCU is sitting on, the battery control unit, is sitting on two modules. And those two modules in the front and in the back are sitting on a base plate. So incredibly easy to install, unlike some of these unweldy batteries you might be familiar with. This can be installable. The 10H for sure by one person. The 16H, you might want to do a two-person lift, as we have about 88-pound modules. You could definitely do it as one person, but we actually do recommend two on the larger modules and BCUs. But you don't need your whole roof crew to throw it up on up on onto the wall. You can definitely do that with one or two people. And these are just some of the main features I was speaking about. That it's modular and easy to install and easy to work with. Next slide, please. Let's get right into it. Terrence, back to you.
Hey, thanks, Michael. That sort of ease of install and ease of setup, of course, is something that we will ensure that you actually experience when you purchase these inverters and batteries. We want you to feel that you have our support, and indeed we'll talk a little bit about how we're going to be handling your phone calls and emails and other tickets that you submit for these systems. Again, this system's super flexible. Let's not even talk about PV. Let's just talk about using the battery with our inverter and setting it up for a particular backup load. Here in Michigan, for example, we want our sump pumps to be backed up so that we can go on vacation and not worry about the basement flooding. And so you can really set these inverters up and set inverter and battery set up just for a particular load, particular backup that you need, that 10 millisecond switch over to your load to ensure continuous resiliency for whatever you're looking for, whether it's pumping or lighting or security systems or whatever. So quite easy to set these up, inexpensive and simple. But
let's go back there, Terrence. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
There's just a question in the chat here. You're totally right, Michael. There's no PV on this diagram. We are looking at we're first taking a look at a really simple installation. You can use the Solis S6 hybrid inverter and an LG Energy Solution battery as an AC coupled installation. So whether you're looking for a retrofit, or maybe the customer wants something else on the PV side, maybe they already have some micro inverters up on the roof. But this is just one configuration. And maybe it's a customer that can't do PV and they just are looking for battery backup. So just really want to highlight the flexibility of both the S6 and the LG Energy Solution Prime Home Battery, and that you can not only do a hybrid DC or a string installation, but you could also go ahead and throw that on the AC or the load side and make it really easy installation.
Oh, yeah. Expandable, indeed, expandable with a little bit more PV, for example, and you're just setting the system up so that you have your regular home load. This is an easy one, and we heard quite a bit about this in NABCEP conference that I was just at, where this type of setup, which is sort of let's say the classic hybrid inverter setup, where you're pulling out a few critical backup loads that you want to back up out of your main home service panel. And there's some let's say extra complication when you decide you want to pull some loads out of the service panel and put them into your backup load panel, but it's not really too bad. And a lot of guys know how to do this, and it's all load side connections. Remember, you're all, this inverter has a PCS in it, right? So it may be a little bit large for that particular bus bar, but you don't have to worry about that because the PCS will ensure that you're loading only up to, let's say, a 200 amp bus bar or a 100 amp bus bar. You can set that in the inverter to ensure that you don't overload it. So that PCS function in the hybrid allows you to connect to whatever service panel you happen to run into, and then you can pull some of those loads into a backup load panel, and all of that can be done on the load side. So classic setup where you're using a single inverter that can pass 50 amps from these batteries, and the batteries, as Michael told you, you can stack and expand so that you can get more energy over time, or or what we used to call days of autonomy from the battery set. And so this is the classic setup for a hybrid system. And that expansion of the battery pack is something, Michael, could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, let's go back one more slide. And just to be clear, we are talking about the Solis S6 hybrid inverter here, and that goes up to 11.4. So um, let's assume we have an 11.4 inverter here. We're looking at this hybrid configuration. I would say a pretty good pairing for that would be two LG Prime 10Hs. So two 10Hs with 5 kilowatts each puts you up to 10 kilowatts total. 20 kilowatt hours of output of capacity, 10 kilowatt hours. Yeah. Aha. So in terms of capacity, we're at 20 kilowatt hours, right? In terms of power, we're at 10 kilowatts, right? So 10 kilowatts of power matches really nicely with the 11.4 here. So you can always stack these up and we can show you how that works. Let's go next slide.
No.
And so it's incredibly easy to double your power and double your capacity. For example, here we're looking at two 16Hs. In order to get that double power and double capacity, all you're really doing is combining the power lines. You notice we got the positive, the negative, and the positive, the negative, and the ground here. You're really just combining those with off-the-shelf products, whichever you may have on hand, and you're putting that as a one input into the inverter. So in terms of the for the installer, it's incredibly easy. You don't have to do multiple commissions. There's no extra settings that you need to do. You don't need any other kind of third-party combiner or anything like that. You're really just taking some off-the-shelf products and combining that power and taking the two batteries, which would normally have two inputs. You're just combining that into one single input to the inverter. So incredibly simple install. Next slide. Along with the single input on the power, you also will have a single input on the comms as well. So you'll notice here that where it's a little bit daisy chained, well, it is a little bit, but it's daisy chained, the primary pack into the secondary pack, you notice, and it comes out of the secondary pack into the inverter. Again, I just want to stress that even though we have two batteries here, we're still looking at one single input. Combine your power, combine your comms, do some easy settings, your dip switches here. You'll notice that it's on the primary pack, off on the secondary pack. Then you also make those settings in the battery, some really easy dip switches. So just really wanted to highlight when you're putting two batteries behind an inverter, it's incredibly easy. You're really just combining the power, combining the comms, making some dip switch changes, and now you've got double the power and double the capacity. Incredibly easy to do.
Right on. And it really is, it provides that, like I say, kind of a partial home solution, and you could do a whole home solution. This Solis hub here, we start talking about quite an expensive system, but what you're seeing here is the ability to stack the inverters. Essentially, they combine to they coordinate their output to the Solis hub using a CAN bus connection between the inverters. And then, of course, each one can deliver 50 amps. And so in this situation, you're delivering 150 amps continuous and over 200 amps surge. And as Michael noted, you can kind of stack these batteries, setting up for more power, more energy. In this case, you split the 3 units amongst the 3 inverters, but you could set it all up, for example, 2 16s on the first inverter and see if that's enough, because then you'll get the full power delivery and you'll get the full battery delivery. But you may want to split the battery up to get even more power out of the battery. So lots of things you can do.
Yeah, we're taking if you're looking here, what's the size inverter that would fit nicely again, Terrence, with our 16H with the 7 kilowatt output?
Well, I mean, I think each of our inverters will put out the same to the backup panel as they do to the load panel as they're rated. So the 7.6K would work out great, or 10K, right?
Exactly. So let's assume we're looking at 3 7.6K inverters here with one 16H behind each. So we're getting 7 kilowatts of power from each battery, right? But that's getting combined at the at the hub. So you're getting a huge 7, 14, 21 kilowatts of power for a whole home backup. Really nice way to get that capacity. So we're, again, about a 7.6 kilowatt size inverter, a 7 kilowatt output on your 16 kilowatt hour battery. So really nice sizing there. Let's imagine another scenario. Maybe we're looking at three 11.4 kilowatt hour inverters here. Now let's imagine two 10s behind each of these 11.4 kilowatt inverters. So now we're talking about up to 30 kilowatts of power coming straight into your hub. And that comes along with uh, wait, 30, 10, 20, yep, 30.
Right.
I'm going crazy over here.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
and up to 60 kilowatt hours of capacity, right?
There
So
you go.
with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 H's. So so really great flexibility behind the inverters in order to match your inverter, match your battery, but also get the power and capacity that you want out of your, not only your inverter, but out of this hub for your whole home backup.
Yeah, and let's say that you had originally purchased a 5K inverter with a small 10 a 10H with LG, and setting it up for a particular load or just to do some time of use stuff. You can actually tie that in, and maybe you decided to get an 11.4 or 10. You can use different inverters tied into and paralleled onto the hub. You don't have to use all the same size inverters. And what makes all this, that gives you that capability is that when you look at your mobile app, you'll see that it's kind of all coordinated into one. And so you can monitor your energy from all of the inverters or together or as individuals, see what's going on with each one of the batteries. That's another thing about this system is that Solis and LG are not hiding the fact that we're two companies here. We want to make sure that you're kind of proud of the fact that you're owning both a Solis and LG product and that you've got support from both teams. Your main call is going to be to Solis Service Center, and you're going to be monitoring most of your system parameters through the Solis cloud, but you've also got the capability to monitor through the LG app. So I want to kind of show you a little bit about that. You've got this flexibility, number one, to expand power and energy. You've got ability to integrate your generator quite easily, elegantly, and you can use these systems with any type of solar module you want. As Michael noted earlier, the installation is quite easy. 10-minute battery commissioning on top of the 2 or 3 minutes just to commission the inverter to the grid. And the thing that both of us are trying to emphasize here is that there's such a wide variety of customers that you can pair these, really match these two, whether they're looking for simplicity and just a little bit of backup, or whether they're looking for whole home security. You've really got an options with these products. And what makes it all happen? The monitoring capability, the ability to really take a good look at what's going on with your system and make sure that everything is running as you expect, that you're getting the value out of the money that you invested in the system. And to back that up, we got world-class customer support. It's tier 1 support. And as you saw, we have a full website, but so does LG. And I want you to, can you talk a little bit about this, Michael?
Yeah, I do want to. There was a question. Let's go back 1 or 2 slides there to one more. Sorry, Terrence, took you out of your flow here. One more. All right, let's. So in terms of the app here, this app is really great. It feels modern, unlike some of our previous inverter partners. Their apps may have felt a little bit stuck in the 2000s. I've commissioned this battery a number of times now, and really, I'm not exaggerating when we say 5-10 minute commissioning. I
Yeah.
really want to highlight that, and the fact that your guys' app is so easy to work with. There are a few wizards in there that walk you through exactly what you need to be doing in terms of commissioning, so there's no question
Right.
on what's going on with your system commissioning. And then let's go on to the next slide. And let's go one more forward. And then something I did want to mention here, Terrence did talk about a little bit, but the smart load shedding off of the hub, incredibly, it makes whole home backup absolutely available. So there's smart circuits in the hub, and they make everything possible. It's probably one of the best features that I think this system has when you're including a hub is the smart circuits and the load shedding you get. So it's an incredibly smart system that will help you do a full home backup. And Terrence, there's a question in the chat from here. Is the Solis Hub available today?
Yeah, so we're just taking orders for it now, and so we're beginning to get it on the shelves. So we're very excited about this next quarter as we finally get the product into the hands of the customers. We've been, as I said, we've been testing it at different sites around the country, and we're ready to go on it. And I might add, on that load shedding part, is that the loads are shed via a relay. It's not actually snapping the breaker off so that you can then have to go to the hub and snap it back on again. You can actually just manipulate the relay via your mobile phone and then turn the load back on or off, whatever you need to do. So easy to use, but it's this. Again, Michael, I want to emphasize the fact that our customers will have the option of controlling their entire system through their phone, but they'll also have the ability to really take a good look at what's going on with their battery.
Right. So this is our new service app. This is battery specific, GECP. And it's an app that LG uses to track its RMAs and to give the installers and the homeowner insight into their specific situation without having to do emails or phone calls. It's all visible and giving full transparency to your specific situation when it comes to the battery. Though with that being said, let's go back one more slide, Terrence. I'm so sorry. Let's go back one more. One more again, I'm sorry. So when it comes to joint customer support, we want to make it clear that with Solis being the system inverter and with them having the monitoring app and all of the visibility in terms of the whole entire system, Solis will be your first call. And hopefully it will be your only call. Solis customer service teams are ready to take calls that are concerning the LG plus Solis pairing when it comes to system installation, system pairing, system commissioning, landing your PV, landing grid, landing it to the home, installation questions, every question that you can think of when it comes to system installation. Just pick up the phone, give Solis a call. We've given them information and our product information. So we just want to make sure that our customers know, our installers know, the homeowners know that even there's an LG battery, but we really want it to be one point of contact. There's no confusion on who you're calling for help. Really, you're going to pick up a phone, call Solis, and if we need to get battery specific, let's say maybe if you have a battery assembly issue, or perhaps there's a specific battery RMA that you need help with, LG will always be there to pick up the phone, and we'll show you guys the service numbers and the service emails for that. But just to make it really clear that when it comes to customer help, installer help, and when it comes to installing the system, Solis will be your first and hopefully only call. And if it needs to get battery specific, LG will be happy to step in and help you as well.
True. Your team has really done a great job in training our team to handle those most common calls and what we're anticipating to be maybe if there's any sticky points. You guys have talked to us a little bit about that, and so we really feel quite ready to field the calls. You'll be able to go to our service portal and find applications that are LG specific, and of course you'll also find all the other information on warranty and service contacts and that sort of thing. It's this service team that Solis has built that allow us to really take on some of our partners' service logistics here where you are going to call our team about this Solis LG system, and your call will get logged into our CRM system, and you'll be able to track it as we go forward. So as Michael noted, we are your first point of contact. And so we want to, again, emphasize the fact that Solis and LG are working together for support. It's these folks that are really going to be able to, and we can send you a copy of this presentation if you'd like, but it's our team and Michael and his team over there that are really going to be able to provide that, to the minute and appropriate advice for these systems. It's really kind of exciting for us to be working together. We have a team that we've been building for years together, Michael, and so we're super excited about the launch of the hub and the new LG 10 and 16H. It's quality equipment that our customers can count on. And if you guys got any questions that were unanswered during this thing, let's take it. We kind of ran out of time here. We ended up starting a little late, but if anybody's got some extra questions in a little time, we can spend some time answering. What's going on, folks?
Terrence, do you mind going back one slide there just to leave it on the contact information there?
Sure.
We have, please reach out to my sales manager, Matthew Underfirth, also account manager, Charlene Langland, myself, technical sales, but you can always reach out in terms of installation support and field service through those emails and phone numbers there. We are about right on time. I think we will stick around for a couple of minutes to take a look at these questions. Andrew just put down a new question here. Take a look at that question there, Terrence, from Andrew. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back a little bit here.
When the grid goes down, the S6 will not be able to receive power from the solar modules, only from the batteries. No, it'll be able to receive power from the modules. The transmitter that will keep on the via PLC, the rapid shutdown components will allow the power to flow from the PV to the batteries and to the loads. And so you'll have full access. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, Andrew, to be clear, just with the inverter itself and the battery connected like as with PV and say a hybrid or a string installation, that's all you really need. You're even off grid, on grid, the PV will be able to charge those batteries and you'll be good to go, just like you would expect, right? In terms of the hub, that's what's really what you're adding there is a 200 amp pass through, and then also ability to combine multiple inverters into one. Grid forming inverter, Terrence, do you have a?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Exactly right.
It's a grid forming inverter, and it's capable. We talked a little earlier about the possibility that you might have an Enphase or other grid tie system on site. It will grid form that other system will come on, and should you start, and as I note, there's a PCS in here, and should it be producing too much, it'll go into what they call frequency watt mode, and it will adjust the frequency to kind of modulate that other PV source. And so it truly is an inverter that grid forms and is capable of essentially optimally utilizing the other AC sources connected to the bus. And so, yeah, it's quite an advanced machine.
You got ATS?
Well, essentially, when the hub has a virtual ATS in it, and so should you turn on the inverter, I think today the logic is it will just turn off the PV at that point, and just the generator will run. So the generator will run, charge the battery, service the loads until the generator's off, and then the PV will be reconnected. Yeah.
All right, so we're looking at about 104, 105 here. We're a little bit over time. We'll let people go out to their lunch and hit their next meetings. And so just want to thank you all again. Thank you to Fortune. Thanks, Terrence.
Thanks, Fortune.
And thanks to our audience for sticking with us here. Please reach out to your distributors about the Solis S6, the hub. and the Prime batteries, 10H and 16H. We're really excited. This new partnership, where we are working lockstep together in order to bring you guys a lot of flexibility, a lot of capacity, a lot of power through the products available. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Please ask your distributor about this pairing, and we hope to see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Really appreciate your time. Bye now.
Thank you.